lost some, yeah, I lost some. And then I found peace.
Hey, this is Maz Jobrani. I'm here with Shabooty. This guy, he doesn't have a big booty, but he's Shabooty. He's badass. Maz Jobrani. Meow.
First question, I know it's kind of cliche, but what do you think of the whole Shahs of Sunset thing?
The Shahs of Sunset. Well, what I liked was you said I'm going to be interviewing Maz Jobrani, the Haas of Sunset. I like that. No, be honest with you, I was a little worried when I first heard about it. I was like, oh man, it's going to be at the Jersey Shore. But when I watched it, I didn't think it was as bad, and I actually thought that, they actually showed some human sides of Iranians. Look, we've been shown in such a bad way the past 30, 40 years that anything is progress. And I thought there was some good stuff in there. I didn't get a chance to see a lot of the episodes. I saw a couple. The one where Reza goes and sees his dad. He hadn't seen him in years. I mean, that was really, really good television. So, yeah, I'm not as upset about the whole thing as a lot of people in the community are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, when was the last time you were on the Joe Rogan podcast?
I was on the Joe Rogan podcast. I think I was on the Joe Rogan podcast probably, it was almost a year ago. I know Joe from the Comedy Store. When I was coming up, he was the superstar over there, and he's still a superstar. He's great. And that podcast was so much fun. It was 2 hours. It felt like it was 20 minutes. And it's crazy. We just went from subject to subject to subject. And anyone who watches it knows that there's a live board. People are messaging as they're watching it. So we talk about stuff, and people would be posting clips online. So I went the next day to follow the interview, and it was amazing. For example, I talked about Russians are the most badass people, and then Rogan, we start talking about that with him and Red Band, and then the next day I'm on there, and people were posting like a clip of these Russians that went in the woods and like were fighting. It's a really cool podcast, and I hope to get back on. I'm friends with those guys, so hopefully they'll have me on again soon.
And then, I mean, when you go on there, do you notice like a boost of new fans from new areas and stuff?
Well, absolutely. What you do get is, Rogan's fans are so active on Twitter that, I think I did the podcast and I got like 500 new fans on, Twitter followers. It's amazing that you could do you could be on like national television and not get as much hits on Twitter as you do on some of these shows, and Rogan's is one of those. So yeah, it's nice to get that bump as well.
Speaking of the same crew, like you're friends with Joey Diaz, like did you know him in his coked up days?
Joey Diaz I've known for a long time. I've known Joe Diaz since since I started comedy. The Comedy Store was a legendary place. It's always been a legendary place. But when I first started, like Joe Diaz, Joe Rogan, all these guys were there, and Joey Diaz is one of the best storytellers in the world. Joey Diaz is one of the I love Joe Diaz, and his the life that he's led, it blows my mind that has not become a movie yet. And he's just now starting to do these things. I think he calls it, what's he call it? The something Chronicles. The Ball no. He's got some funny.
His own podcast too.
There's some funny the podcast, but he's actually been telling storytelling about his life.
Oh yeah.
Joe, you could sit with Joe Diaz.
Oh, it was like sort of like a documentary or something.
Yeah, but you could probably sit with Joe Diaz and just be entertained for like 10 hours at a time. So he's an amazing person, and if people out don't know Joe Diaz, check him out. I think he's at Mad Flavor on Twitter.
Yeah. All right, would you ever do the Howard Stern show?
Of course I do the Howard Stern show. Yeah, I'd love to do the Howard Stern show. That'd be a lot of fun to do. I'm good with going on any show. I'm really the one time we ended up on some when we did the Acts of Evil comedy tour. We're doing a lot of publicity, and we were doing a show in LA, and somebody got us on a really conservative show for like an AM talk show, and this guy was just a douchebag, and he was trying to prick at us to get us to say something, and it was funny because it was me, Ahmed, and Aaron Cater, and Aaron Cater tends to get really worked up a lot when it comes to politics, and I remember this guy was pushing, and Aaron was ready to jump this guy, and we were like, this guy's an idiot, and it was one of these things where it wasn't even that well listened to of a station, and so I'll still go on shows like that, I don't care, but for the most part I'd love to do Howard Stern, of course.
Yeah, that's kind of my internet crew is the Howard Stern. I'm friends with everybody. Because my blog is very centric.
Tell them, hey, get Maz Jobrani on there, man. Let's do it.
Let's see. So have you seen Separation yet?
Separation was amazing. I watched Separation, and I remember I watched it with my wife, who's Indian, and for 2 hours we just could not move. We were like, oh my God. And I honestly thought there were some great movies last year, just in general. I loved what was the one with Clooney? Descendants. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the one in Hawaii.
Yeah, I thought that was a great movie.
Yeah.
I saw a bunch of the films last year, but I thought Separation was the best movie, hands down, in terms of just a movie of last year. So thank God it won best foreign, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure you get this a lot. What's your favorite like Persian food?
Man, Persian food is so good. If there's people out there who've not had Persian food, go to a Persian restaurant and just enjoy it. It's not spicy like hot. It's as you know, it's like good spicy. And Ghormeh sabzi is a green. It's like a green topping on rice, delicious. The kebabs are delicious, but probably Ghormeh sabzi would be right up there at the top. But I mean, God, there's so many fesenjun. Oh man, you could. I always say we do food and women right. Iranian women are beautiful. Iranian food is delicious. I go, our politics, not so good.
Yeah, so what do you think of Ahmadinejad?
Ahmadinejad, I always say, man, that guy says some funny shit. I'll tell you what, man. I say he's kind of like my own George Bush. It's like he gives me so much material.
Yeah.
He's just, he's a sly dude. You listen to him talk. I used to do better bit about it. He always answers questions with a question. And he was just back in America again. He was on Piers Morgan and just throwing questions at Piers. Piers would throw a question at him. He'd throw it right back. It's interesting to watch. And in the end, I mean, the good news is that I think even in Iran they make fun of the guy. So he's kind of fair game to everybody. I don't know, man. These guys are all a little nutty.
Did you hear about his like cameraman that defected?
Yeah, his cameraman defected. I did a little tweet where I was like, the cameraman was like, for this next picture, Mr. Ahmadinejad, you need to go just a step back a little bit further. Go all the way to Tehran.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Yeah.
You were born in Iran? Have you been back?
I was born in Iran. I left when I was 6. I went back about 15 years ago, right around the time I started stand-up comedy. My dad was living in Iran. He was still alive. He's passed away since. I went back to Iran. I spent 2 weeks there. And it was amazing because the people were so gracious and so great. And I had these, I'd go to like a relative's house, to my aunt's house, and I would smell some smells I hadn't smelt in like 20 years. And it was just, I was instantly back. And it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. The only down part was, it was a little depressing because it felt like there was a lot of young people that didn't have a lot of opportunities. And you really learn to come back to America and appreciate America because we have so many opportunities here. And that was the last time I was back, and I think ever since then I've started to do stand-up, and I do some jokes about the leadership and stuff. So I don't even want to mess with it. I'd hate to arrive at the airport and there'd be a sign with a guy, "Where have you been? We've been waiting for you. The show starts right now. It's in prison. Let's go."
I mean, were you a fan of like the Shah of Iran?
No, I think it's interesting because I was a kid when the Shah was around, and having gone back and looking at the history. I feel that Iran. My personal feeling is that Iran hopefully will one day be a democracy where it's like a parliament, and hopefully a lot freer, And I know that under the Shah there was a lot of regulations and there was a lot of restrictions, and free speech was not free. But comparing it to the current regime, I would say that under the Shah it was a better situation. That said, again, like I really do hope that change comes from within. And that like women are allowed to have the same worth as men, and I hope that young people have opportunities, and I hope that people aren't told what to wear. These things are, to me, it's as a human being, it's dehumanizing.
Yeah, like being forced to use Apple Maps instead of Google Maps.
Kind of like that, exactly. There you go. Yeah. I guess you could say that the Apple company is dictatorial in that way.
Yeah. Okay, so would you say you get more or less hecklers than the average person? I mean, there might be an anti-American in the audience, but then at the same time, Persian people are a lot more polite.
No, I don't really get a lot of hecklers. I think hecklers come about when they're drunk. And sometimes they don't know what they're doing. During the Bush administration, during the war with Iraq, there's probably a few more people that would get upset if you were making fun of Bush and stuff. And I would get upset and we yell at each other. That was that. Nowadays, for the most part, it's pretty cool. It's not so much hecklers as interruptions. Like I'll get random like there's some Persians will come to the show and they don't really know how it works. So literally, I think I was in Houston. Houston, or was it in Portland? I forget. But this lady like raised her hand, like a middle-aged Persian lady, in the middle of my set. It's going well, and she raised her hand. And I was like, "Excuse me, you have a question?" And she's like, "What city were you born in?" I was like, "That's kind of random. I was even talking about where I was born, and you just but I'm curious, what city?" I was like, there's Facebook. You could email me. There's like 200 people here tonight.
There's Wikipedia.
They don't understand. And I was like, this lady's been waiting the whole show to ask me this question, and she doesn't understand. So it's more interruptions than heckling from Persian audiences.
Yeah. What's your favorite Persian curse word, and can you say it on camera?
Oh, well, of course, koskish is a good one. Koskish, and the direct translation of koskish is pussy puller. Pussy puller. But it means like calling somebody a pimp. And when you call someone a pimp, you're insinuating that like they pimp out their sister and their mother. So it's like, and you could use it though. Koskish, interestingly enough, you can use it in a antagonistic way. Koskish, I'm gonna kill you, koskish. You can also use it in a fun way, like koskish chaturi. So it's like people do it as a term of endearment as well. Like, what's up, motherfucker? Like that kind of thing.
Yeah. Like, this is kind of cliche. Do you have a wall-to-wall Persian rugs in your house?
Oh, hell yeah. I got chandeliers, I got Persian rugs. No, I married an Indian woman who's got very modern taste. So she decorates the house. We have one Persian rug that a friend of mine gave. I like Persian rugs, actually. But our house is definitely, it's like a different style. It's like a French modern kind of style. And one day I hope to have some more Persian rugs. I really like Persian rugs, actually. They're kind of nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And okay, so are you more famous or the Iron Sheik?
Man, I'll tell you what, the Iron Sheik knows much respect. He's the man. He is the trailblazer. He's number one, and I would never even think about comparing myself to the Iron Sheik. He is my hero.
But he likes saying jabroni a lot.
He says jabroni a lot. Well, did you see the clip of him? He was on my special. Last special I did, he gave me the honor of coming and helping me open the special. And it's funny because he shows up backstage, and I'm about to chicken out and not go on stage. And he goes, Maz, jabroni. I go, Jobrani. He goes, jabroni. I go, Jobrani. He goes, jabroni. I go, Jobrani. He goes, what, am I a school teacher? He's like, get out of there. I'm going to... You should link the clip. It's really funny, and the Sheik is a legend, man.
True.
Hey, this is Maz Jobrani. I'm here with Shabooty. This guy, he doesn't have a big booty, but he's Shabooty. He's badass. Maz Jobrani. Meow.